was standing in my kitchen arranging flowers for our 6th wedding anniversary party. Megan loved white roses. The house smelled like her favorite lavender candles. Everything felt perfect. My twin brother Derek would arrive soon. Lately, Megan seemed distant, texting late at night, smiling at her phone. I brushed it off. 6 years of marriage meant trust. Right, I did not know that tonight this celebration of our love would become the night I lost everything, but also the night I finally found myself again. Before we dive into this story, let me know where you are watching from in the comments below. If you have ever trusted someone completely only to discover a painful truth, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Stay with me until the end, because what happened next changed my life forever. My story with Megan began 8 years ago at a small coffee shop in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was 26 years old, working as a software engineer, and I had stopped by this little cafe to finish some code on my laptop. The place was quiet, just a few people scattered around, and I found a corner table near the window. That is when she walked in. Megan had this energy about her, this warmth that seemed to fill the room. She ordered a latte and turned around too quickly, bumping right into me. Coffee spilled everywhere, soaking my laptop keyboard, dripping onto my jeans. I watched in slow motion as my work disappeared from the screen. She was horrified. Her face turned bright red and she kept apologizing over and over again. But something about her panic, her genuine concern, made me laugh instead of getting angry. I told her it was fine, that I had backup saved. That was mostly true. We ended up talking for 3 hours. She told me about her job at a local bank, about her dream of traveling to Italy someday, about how she always burned toast no matter how hard she tried. I told her about my obsession with building things, fixing things, making broken stuff work again. By the time the coffee shop closed, I had her phone number and a ruined laptop, but I did not care about the laptop anymore. We dated for 2 years before I proposed. I took her back to that same coffee shop, got down on one knee right where she had spilled that latte, and asked her to marry me. She cried. I cried. The barista cried. It was perfect. Our wedding was simple but beautiful. We held it at a small church in Charlotte, Pastor Williams officiating. Both our families were there, smiling, celebrating. My parents, Caroline and Frank, welcomed Megan like the daughter they never had. Her mother could not stop hugging me. Everything felt right, like all the pieces of my life had finally come together. For 6 years, our marriage was good. Not perfect, because nothing ever is, but good. We bought a small house in the suburbs with a yard big enough for a garden. Megan planted tomatoes every spring, and I built her raised beds from scratch. On Sunday mornings, she would make pancakes while I fixed whatever needed fixing around the house. We had routines, inside jokes, a life built together brick by brick. We talked about having kids. We wanted to wait until we were more financially stable, until we had traveled a little, until the timing felt right. But we both knew it would happen eventually. I used to imagine teaching my son or daughter how to ride a bike, how to throw a ball, how to build something with their own hands. I thought we had time. I thought we had forever. Now I need to tell you about Derek, my twin brother. We came into this world 7 minutes apart, me first, then him. Growing up, people always commented on how identical we looked, but how different we acted. I was the quiet one, always reading, always tinkering with electronics in my room. Derek was the life of every party. Charming, funny, the kid everyone wanted to be friends with. But beneath that charm, there was something else. Derek had this need to have whatever I had. When I got a new bicycle for my 12th birthday, Derek threw a tantrum until my parents bought him one too. When I started dating a girl named Jessica in high school, Derek suddenly became very interested in her. They ended up kissing at a party. I found out from a friend. I forgave him because that is what brothers do. At least, that is what I told myself. Derek bounced from job to job over the years. Car salesman, real estate agent, bartender. Nothing ever stuck. Meanwhile, I built my career, steadily got promotions, saved money. Our parents always made excuses for him. Derek is more sensitive, they would say. Derek needs more support. I learned to accept this imbalance to be the responsible one, while Derek remained the golden child who could do no wrong. When I introduced Megan to my family, I noticed Derek watching her a little too long. I noticed how he always found reasons to stand close to her to touch her arm when he laughed at her jokes. But I pushed those observations away. Megan loved me. Derek was my brother. Some things were supposed to be sacred. About 4 months before our anniversary party, I started noticing changes. Small things at first. Megan began keeping her phone face down on every surface. She would take calls in another room, closing the door behind her. When I asked who she was talking to, she would say it was just work stuff, nothing important. She started going out more on weekends, meeting friends she never really talked about. When I offered to come along, she always had a reason why I should not. Girls' only night. Old college roommate in town. Needed some alone time. Then there was Derek. He began showing up at our house more frequently, always when I was at work. Megan mentioned it casually, said he was just stopping by to borrow tools or ask for advice about some girl he was dating. It seemed innocent enough. One night I woke up around 2 in the morning and reached for Megan, but her side of the bed was empty. I found her in the living room, the glow of her phone illuminating her face. She was smiling at the screen, typing quickly. When she saw me, she nearly dropped the phone. "Just a coworker," she said. "Emergency at the bank." At 2 in the morning, I asked. She shrugged and came back to bed, but she did not fall asleep for a long time. Neither did I. I told myself I was being paranoid. 6 years of marriage. Thousands of shared meals, shared dreams, shared everything. Megan loved me. She had to love me. I was just stressed from work, imagining problems that did not exist. I wish I had trusted my instincts. 2 weeks before our anniversary party, I came home early from a business trip. I had finished my meetings a day ahead of schedule and decided to surprise Megan. I stopped at a florist and bought a bouquet of white roses, her favorite. I imagined her face when she saw me at the door, how happy she would be. When I pulled into our driveway, I saw Derek's car parked in the garage. My first thought was that something was wrong, that maybe there was a family emergency. I walked into the house quietly, not wanting to startle anyone. The living room was empty. The kitchen was empty. But I heard voices upstairs coming from our bedroom. Laughter. My wife's laughter. I climbed the stairs slowly, my heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. The bedroom door was slightly open. I stood there frozen, listening. "We have to be more careful," Megan said. "Herman will be back in a few days." Then Derek's voice, so familiar yet suddenly monstrous. "He does not suspect anything." Herman has always been trusting to the point of stupidity. They laughed together. I do not remember walking back down the stairs. I do not remember getting into my car. But somehow I ended up in an empty parking lot 3 miles from my house, sitting behind the wheel with the engine off, staring at nothing. I did not cry. I did not scream. I just sat there, feeling something inside me crack and crumble like a building collapsing floor by floor. The woman I loved, my twin brother, in our bed, in the home we built together. For 3 hours, I sat in that parking lot. When the sun started setting, I finally drove to a hotel and checked in for the night. I needed time to think, to plan. Because I knew one thing with absolute certainty: I was not going to be the fool in this story. Over the next 2 weeks, I became someone I did not recognize. I installed security cameras throughout the house, telling Megan it was because of a string of burglaries in the neighborhood. She did not question it. I watched the footage each night after she fell asleep. Derek came over 3 times that first week alone. They were not subtle. They did not even try to hide what they were doing in my own home. I went through Megan's things while she was at work. In the back of her closet, hidden inside an old purse, I found a second phone. A burner phone. The kind you buy with cash and no contract. I opened it with shaking hands. There were hundreds of messages between Megan and Derek spanning months. Love declarations, plans to meet, jokes about how clueless I was. Each message felt like a knife sliding between my ribs, but the worst was yet to come. I scrolled to their most recent conversation dated just 3 days earlier. Megan, I am pregnant. I am sure it is yours. Herman and I have not been intimate in 2 months. Derek, we will figure this out after the anniversary party. Just act normal until then. I read those words 5 times, 10 times until they stopped making sense. My wife was pregnant with my brother's child, and they were planning to let me raise it, let me believe it was mine. Something shifted inside me in that moment. The pain was still there, but it was joined by something else, something cold and clear and determined. They wanted to play this game. Fine. But I would be the one to end it. I contacted a divorce lawyer the next day. Her name was Patricia Lawson, and she had a reputation for being ruthless. I showed her everything, the videos, the messages, the pregnancy revelation. She confirmed what I suspected. With this evidence, I would have significant advantages in the divorce proceedings. The house was mine before the marriage, and with proof of infidelity, Megan would have limited claims. I transferred my portion of our joint savings into a personal account. I documented everything meticulously. I prepared for war while smiling at my wife across the breakfast table every morning. Then I began planning the anniversary party. I sent out invitations to everyone, both sets of parents, friends, co-workers, neighbors, even Pastor Williams, who had married us. 40 people total. I told Megan I wanted to celebrate our love properly to show everyone how happy we were. She seemed touched by my enthusiasm. She had no idea what was coming. I called my friend Tanya from work, someone I trusted completely. I told her everything. She was silent for a long moment after I finished. Then she said something I will never forget. You deserve to expose them, Herman, and they deserve whatever comes next. I created a special slideshow for the party. The first part was innocent photos from our wedding, our vacations, our life together. But the second part contained screenshots of their messages, footage from the security cameras, evidence of their betrayal displayed in high definition. The trap was set. All I had to do was wait. The day of the anniversary party arrived warm and bright, the kind of North Carolina spring day that feels like a promise. Our house filled with people I cared about, colleagues, friends, family members who had watched our relationship bloom over the years. Megan wore a red dress that night. She moved through the crowd like a perfect hostess, hugging guests, refilling drinks, playing the role of devoted wife with practiced ease. Watching her perform, knowing what I knew, made my stomach turn. Derek showed up with the expensive bottle of champagne and a wide smile. He embraced me at the door, clapping my back like we were the closest brothers in the world. "Congratulations on 6 years, little brother," he said. "I am so proud of you." I thanked him and shook his hand, maintaining eye contact. He did not flinch. Neither did I. My parents arrived shortly after. Caroline kissed Megan on both cheeks and told her she looked radiant. Frank commented on how well I had done for myself, gesturing at the house, the party, the life I had built. If only he knew how rotten the foundation had become. Megan's mother was there too, already asking about grandchildren. "When are you two going to give me a baby to spoil?" she kept saying. Megan would glance at Derek each time, a look so quick most people would miss it. But I caught every single one. The party progressed through dinner, through toasts, through laughter and conversation. I played my part perfectly, the happy husband celebrating his blessed union. Inside, I was counting down the minutes. After dessert, I stood up and clinked my glass. "Everyone, can I have your attention, please? I have prepared something special for tonight. A trip down memory lane to celebrate 6 wonderful years with my beautiful wife." People gathered around the large screen I had set up in the living room. Megan smiled at me, genuinely touched by what she thought was a romantic gesture. Derek leaned against the wall, champagne in hand, looking relaxed. I started the slideshow with our engagement photos. People made appreciative sounds. Then came our wedding pictures, our honeymoon in Florida, holidays and birthdays, and ordinary moments captured forever. Halfway through, I paused the presentation. You know, I said my voice steady. These past 6 years have been full of surprises. Some wonderful, some not so much. I recently discovered some memories I never knew existed. Let me share them with you. The screen changed. The first image was a screenshot of a text message from Megan to Derek. I cannot stop thinking about last night. I miss you already. The room went silent. The second image was footage from our bedroom, Derek and Megan clearly visible through the doorway. Someone gasped. A glass shattered somewhere behind me. I continued clicking through the evidence, narrating calmly while chaos erupted around me. The love declarations, the secret phone, the plans they made while I worked to provide for our future. Then I reached the final screenshot, the pregnancy announcement. I read it aloud so no one could miss a single word. I am pregnant. I am sure it is yours. Herman and I have not been intimate in 2 months. Megan collapsed into a chair, sobbing. Derek tried to speak, his mouth opening and closing like a fish drowning in air. My father stood up, his face a color I had never seen before. He crossed the room in 3 strides and slapped Derek so hard the sound echoed off the walls. I have no son named Derek, he said. Not anymore. My mother was crying, holding onto the back of a chair for support. Megan's mother had her hands over her mouth, staring at her daughter like she was seeing a stranger. I removed my wedding ring slowly, deliberately. I placed it on the table in front of Megan. My lawyer will be in touch, I said. Please be out of my house by tomorrow morning. Then I walked out of my own party, leaving the wreckage behind me. In the weeks that followed, karma did its work. Derek lost his job at the car dealership. Word spread quickly in our small community about what he had done, and no one wanted to buy a vehicle from a man who would betray his own brother. He could not find new work. His friends stopped calling. Megan requested a transfer at the bank, but her reputation followed her. Co-workers who once smiled at her now looked away. She became isolated, alone with the consequences of her choices. The divorce was finalized within 2 months. The evidence I had gathered made negotiations simple. I kept the house and most of our assets. Megan did not fight it. She did not have the grounds to fight anything. Derek and Megan tried to build a relationship from the ashes of their betrayal. They moved into a small apartment on the outskirts of town. Without money, without family support, without the foundation of trust that real relationships require, they fell apart quickly. They fought constantly. About money, about the future, about whose fault everything was. 3 months after my anniversary party, Megan miscarried. The stress, the doctor said. Her body could not handle it. Derek left a week later. He sent me a text message, if you can believe it. Just 3 words. I am sorry. I did not respond. Some words come too late to mean anything. In the immediate aftermath, I fell apart quietly. The house that once felt like home became a museum of memories I wanted to forget. Every room held ghosts, the kitchen where we cooked together, the bedroom where she betrayed me, the living room where I exposed them all. I could not sleep. I could not eat. I went to work and came home and sat in the darkness wondering what I had done wrong. There were nights when my thoughts turned very dark. I would sit alone at 2 or 3 in the morning, the same hours when I used to catch Megan texting her lover, and I would wonder if any of it mattered. If I mattered. But I remembered something my grandfather told me when I was young. He said, "Pain does not have the power to destroy you, son. Only giving up on yourself can do that." So I did not give up. I started seeing a therapist named Dr. Reynolds. She helped me understand that Megan and Derek's choices reflected who they were, not who I was. Their betrayal was not a judgment of my worth. It was a revelation of their character. I began running every morning 5 miles before sunrise. The physical exhaustion helped quiet the noise in my head. I threw myself into work and received a promotion to team lead within 6 months. I sold the house and bought a new apartment downtown, a fresh start with no ghosts in the corners. I reconnected with my parents. They apologized for years of favoring Derek for always assuming he needed more protection while I could handle things on my own. My father cried when he said it. I had never seen him cry before. I forgave them. Holding on to resentment would only keep me chained to the past, and I wanted to be free. 1 year after the anniversary party from hell, I enrolled in a guitar class. It was something I had always wanted to learn but never made time for. That is where I met Sarah. She was a veterinarian with kind eyes and a terrible sense of humor. Our first conversation lasted 3 hours, just like my first conversation with Megan. But this time I went in with my eyes open. I had learned to trust, but also to verify. To love, but also to protect myself. We are taking things slow, Sarah and I. Some days I still struggle with doubt, with fear, with the echoes of what happened. But every day gets a little easier. Every day I become more myself again. Looking back, I do not regret exposing Megan and Derek at that party. Some people might call it revenge, but that is not how I see it. Revenge would mean I wanted them to suffer. What I wanted was simpler than that. I wanted the truth to be known. I wanted to stop living a lie. I learned that loving someone does not mean accepting betrayal. Being kind does not mean being weak. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to walk away from people who do not deserve you. I am not angry anymore. Anger requires energy, and I would rather spend that energy building a better life. Megan and Derek have to live with what they did. That is punishment enough. If you are watching this and you have experienced something similar, I want you to know you will survive this. The pain will not last forever. You will find your way back to yourself, and when you do, you will be stronger than you ever imagined. Do not be afraid to expose the truth. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it is messy. It is. But living a lie hurts more, and you deserve better than a life built on deception. Every morning now I look in the mirror and I see someone I am proud of. Not because I am perfect, not because I handled everything gracefully, but because I refused to let betrayal turn me into a bitter person. I chose healing over hatred. I chose myself. And that, I think, is the greatest victory of all. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever discovered a betrayal that changed your life? How did you find the strength to move forward? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might help someone else who is going through the same thing right now. If this story touched you, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Share this video with someone who might need to hear it today. Your support means everything and helps me continue sharing these stories with the world. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being part of this community. I hope you find the peace and happiness you deserve. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and remember, you are worthy of love that is honest and true.